Well, guys, let me know if we're live in YouTube. I'm going to try something here today. Well, that's Restream. All right. Okay. What is up? All right. So, guys, if you can hear me, let me know you're live. Tali and Lisa and Christina, this is great. Kevin, how you doing? All right. Sensei Johnny. Well, I wouldn't go that far. Tali, Jared Allen, how you doing, buddy? Bowser, right on. Estefan, it's good to see you, buddy. Raphael. And if you guys on Periscope or YouTube or are listening, let me know you guys are alive. It's difficult because I'm streaming to you guys through Restream, so I only see when you guys comment. So shoot me a comment. Let me know you guys are there. What's up, Kevin? How you doing? Saz, right on, buddy. You're on Periscope today. Good to see you. Thank you. Thank you for that. That lets me know I'm good over there. Kevin, welcome, my friend. So, guys, here's a little interesting bit. So, as I've been doing this show for quarantine, I think, God, where are we at, guys? I think for myself, this makes me rolling into week 8. You need to add to get the job done, multitasking. So this is basically week 8. I'm sure you guys wake up much like I do, where you get out of bed and you think to yourself, "Yep, we're still in this," and then it's kind of like it's then you kind of go about your day. And what I was thinking about today, right on, Saz, well, I'm glad. What I was thinking about today was, given time, how we sort of remember things over time in a very fond manner? Are we going to do that with this? Because I can tell you, I'm not having much fun with this whole thing. All the paranoia and the anxiety and everything else that myself and everybody else is going through in the forced psychological experiment that is called the coronavirus. We're all dealing with it the best we can. The reason I started doing this was to give me something to look forward to create certainty out of uncertainty. And, good days, bad days, whatever. We're all trying to deal with this the best we can. But give it 5 years, give it 10 years, give it 20 years. Are we going to look back at this and tell our friends, you remember the good old days of coronavirus where we just sat around and relaxed and chilled out? Do you think we will look at it in that manner? Because we tend to look at things fondly in the past. We sort of romanticize about them. Even things like the Great Depression. Think about that. Even the Great Depression, we talk about the Great Generation and the Great Depression. And though probably none of us I would imagine on this show and listening on social media had experienced that, but as well as I do, there was nothing good about it. And as well as I do, if you look at pictures of breadlines and soup kitchens and things like that, none of that looked fun. But yet, for some reason, when we think about it, we look upon it as this time in America that we found ourselves. Is that the way we're going to look at this? I don't know. As all I can see, every morning I wake up, I click on the news really quickly just to see if there's anything interesting that I need to know about. And it's quick. I answer, oh, no, we're still squabbling. And then I turn off the news. Because if you give it any more attention than that, you're going to drive yourself mad. the incessant squabbling and propaganda and insanity that is the news. You guys know I'm not a big fan of the media, let alone it being an election year, which adds doubly to the insanity. None of it. Blockhead. The Great Depression was a bust cycle in our history. There was always a boom and a bust, and we'll always come back. I agree with that. Absolutely, my friend. That's just how the economy works. And we hope that, there's no reason to think that this is not going to be the same thing. But it's difficult to look back. Well, it's difficult looking at this right now, thinking this is going to be a moment when we found each other, especially the way things are right now, because I just see children squabbling incessantly. And us, you guys and me, an animal, the adults in the room have tuned them out. Why? Because these children do not deserve our attention. So that's all I need to say about that. Yeah, so I popped on the news, found out we're still squabbling, shut it all off. And then it's like I get focused on this stuff and what I have to do today. Another thing that I have been doing, and I hope that you guys are in the same mindset of, there's only so much you can do with all the insanity that is around us at the moment in this forced psychological experiment. So because I'm an entrepreneur and because the business that I have is easily at home, I mean, everything that I do is from my laptop and phone and iPad and whatnot. It makes it difficult for me to put work down when I'm always looking for an ROI for my time, a return on investment. Granted, that investment could be an emotional inspiration, or that ROI can be productivity and moving the business forward. That ROI can be in just creating and learning, right? It is those, I look for all those ROIs, but sometimes I get a little bit consumed with the work ROI. And I realized that this week, and I slowed that down over in the last couple of days, and it's been wonderful. I've actually enjoyed myself. So that's what that is. And I hope you guys are too. Everything that we sustain damage wise, bank accounts, debt, we'll figure that out afterwards. But up until this point, we're just going to have to make do. And sitting in this muck, pissed off, is certainly not going to help anything. All right. So anyway, those are my personal thoughts today on this journey. Couple things that I wanted to discuss today was some rapport building tricks, and also some rapport tricks that you need to be cautious of, because toxic individuals, and let's dub them, this group of toxic people, as high on the narcissism spectrum, where narcissism turns to sociopathy. So we'll dive into that. I want to talk about that because since we're talking about rapport and its power and how you're able to lead and persuade people into trusting you through basic rapport tactics, you should also know what they look like when unsavory characters are using them on you. No, Tully, not gaslighting. No, floodlighting. A completely different thing, but we'll get into that. So before we get to those tactics, let's just start with, I wanted to move into finishing up the vulnerability stuff that we were yesterday. So now, I gave you guys this analogy of the dark cave, and you being the one to lead the person in first that you're looking to build trust with, that you're looking to create vulnerability between the two of you, so trust is being built and rapport, that connection can happen. Now, here is the question that I get into all the time. Young, and certainly young men and women, have this tendency to talk about not having many stories or experiences in their life that they can communicate. Now, obviously, if you're any adult over the age of 18, you have those stories. You have lived the gamut of emotions. You are thinking about it in an analytical, problem-solving manner, and it's not helping. Here's why. Rapport, vulnerability, these and conversation and social dynamics. The issue with is it is difficult for them to be broken down as an engineer would break down architecture. They are an art form. And because they're an art form, it eludes analytical problem-solving people because they have the wrong hat on. They have an analytical hat on, so they're looking to break things down. They don't have their artistic hat, their creator hat, their vulnerability hat. And if you don't have that, and so this is basically using the wrong tool for the job. You have to change it up and look at it for what it is. Rapport, vulnerability, conversation, connection. It's an art form. It's about self-expression. Self-expression is always at the root core. Self-expression and how you express yourself, you pick the medium, and you can do it in many different ways. You can do it in dress. You can do it through language. You can do it through writing and creating. You can do it through your work. But it is in that form that you take to express yourself. And if you don't see it as your expression, well, then you don't have much control over it. And so that's where people are lacking in this. So it is very important to do things such as journaling. Why? Because journaling gives you an opportunity to reflect on things, to put stories together, to look at your life in a manner objectively so that you choose the words in which you describe your experiences so that these are on the tip of your tongue. You're able to open up about them anytime in your life. If you have not done the work in reflection, then of course you're not going to have these stories to tell people. Of course you're not going to be able to express yourself when it comes time to do it. This is why analytical problem-solving people tend to freeze up when it comes to meeting people for the first time because they have the wrong tools for the job. They haven't practiced presence. They haven't practiced looking at expressing themselves through their actions and behaviors. All these things matter. Think about advertising. Advertising and marketing. Every advertiser knows. And let's use Instagram. Seeing how I'm talking to you guys on Instagram. Did you know that every piece from your story to your post to the comment section, the captions below, we call that marketing estate, right? That is real estate in which you can use to advertise. Everything that you put on that either takes away from your message or adds to your message. As a marketer, you have to decide everything that you're putting in, whether it is adding to the message that you want to get across. Now, if that same marketing lens, you can look at everything through. You can look at yourself and how you dress and the presentation. You have a marketing real estate that is your body, and you can either dress in a manner that conflicts, confuses, contradicts the message that you want to get across, or you can dress in a way that is pinpoint accurate in the message that you want to get across. And everybody here on this call, Jen follows me around on Twitter, we have this discussion a lot, which is your presentation, your body language, and how you dress and move and your actions speak more about you than you ever could, because people read these patterns, and those patterns send off signals for you in which you are identifying. That is, marketing people have this dialed in so well that they're looking at influence and persuasion through that lens, because they know that everything that goes into that Instagram post flips on or off an emotional cue. Everything that I'm wearing right now and how I talk to you guys and my body language sends off emotional cues. This is why some people are going to see me on screen and go, whoa, I want to see what this guy's talking about. Who's this interesting fella? And then some people are going to flip through this and be like, the hell is this? Get me out of here. Regardless, even both of those come with a bit of curiosity and to stop. Now, I can change up the image and the presentation, but I also have a self-expression of who I am that allows me to feel comfortable in talking to you guys. I couldn't come on screen as a refined gent in a polo and khakis and the rest of that stuff. First of all, I would be a fraud. I wouldn't feel comfortable, and I would have to don a character in order to be able to talk to you guys, in order to pull that off. I mean, and that acting, I would have to find a character that I felt good and resonating with. But that wouldn't be me being genuine. Jennifer. Well, thank you, Jennifer. So I just want to go back to if you are looking for these connection stories, if you're looking for opportunities for you to become more vulnerable in the moment, then you're going to have to reflect on your experiences and write them out. Have them on the tip of your tongue. Make them, relive them in the way that you can discuss them, that you can share them, that you can bring these stories out and hone them. This is incredible. This is also one of the reasons why I wanted to do this show, so I could keep my chops up, so I can practice this stuff. There's a thing called the 5-minute journal. You can get it from Amazon, that prompts you of your thoughts and feelings at the beginning of the day and the end of the day, so that you can share your experiences with yourself. Once you understand what they are, once you share them with yourself, they're going to be more on the tip of your tongue. This is why journaling is so important. But yet, journaling has so many wonderful therapeutic and cathartic things about it. You're choosing your words, you're choosing your stories, you're choosing how you're looking at events, all from an objective lens. This is why it allows you to come to terms with you, yourself, your actions, and your past, and it makes you one with yourself. It's very important. Otherwise, you have a bit of disconnect. There's a cognitive dissonance between your actions and who you think. If you have that cognitive dissonance and your actions and who you think you are, you're always going to be a little bit uneasy of yourself. This gets projected in your actions, your behaviors, your language, when you're one and whole with yourself, or to the best of your abilities, you slow down. You're more consistent. You choose your words, your actions. You rise above being emotionally pushed around, because you have this clear idea and who it is you want to be, and you put forth more effort into being that person. So you want more story building, first level rapport topics? Start journaling. You want more rapport topics? Start reflecting about who you are and the significant events in your life that shaped your character. This makes it easy. I had a friend ask me, how could you go up live and talk into a camera for 30 minutes a day and have topics? And I can honestly tell you, the idea of that is absolutely insane to me, even as I do it right now with you guys. But I'm able to do it over 8 weeks with fresh topics, and at least I'm having fun, and I hope you guys are, because I have done this work, because I journal, because I'm reflective of all my thoughts, because I understand how cathartic and how special and informative that kind of deep work actually is. So it makes this easy. So Saz says, does it matter if you journal via pen and paper? Some people would say so, but I would think it is best what works for you. Saz, I've done all those. But I will tell you this. I will tell you that my handwriting at this point in my life has gotten so atrocious that it makes it difficult for me to even to read it myself. So I'm sticking to, I have 3 places where I write, Saz. I have a war board, which is a dry erase board on the wall. I'll have to even show you guys that sometime. Then those ideas get fleshed out on my computer or on my phone. That depends on where I'm at, what I'm doing, and what device is near me. But usually those thoughts get started on the board and they slowly get fleshed out. All right. So you want more stories? You want more level 1, 2, and 3 self-disclosure arcs in order for you to be a cave guide of rapport, to be able to walk into that cave first and illuminate it so that the person you are looking to connect with will safely go in and join you? Well, then do the work. All right. Now, Tolly's probably asking, what is with this floodlighting business? All right. So since we're going to talk about rapport, and since we're going to talk about how to be vulnerable and use the cave analogy so that you are able to connect with people, you should also be hip to understanding when you are being led into the cave and when you are, so that you can be aware of whether or not you trust the person you are entering in the cave of rapport with. Why do I bring this up? Because if you're an adult, and if you're watching this, I hope that you are, that all of us have one time or another have connected to people who didn't have our best interests in mind. So on the narcissism spectrum, maybe they were a little bit heavy duty in the narcissism area, and maybe even rolled into sociopathy. Well, you ever wonder how you got stuck in those relationships? Do you ever notice how you, as a smart person, were duped into connecting with a person who was a little bit mentally off, especially on the narcissism spectrum? Well, they have a tactic in which they use up front to test potential victims. They have a tactic in which they use up front to see whether or not you are somebody who can be sucked into your web. Now, I want you to also understand that before we get into this, that very smart people, smart and caring people, easily get sucked into this web. And if you were listening to this show, you're probably very, very smart, and you're probably very, very caring. Because why else would you not want to listen to a kick-ass, self-development, emotional, intelligent show, right? Now, here you go. They use this cave. I'll use the cave analogy because they understand it. What these people tend to do is they floodlight. Floodlighting is testing the waters to see whether or not you are reciprocal to the floodlighting. So what I will do is I will flood you with stories that make you feel sympathy for me. I will flood you with personal stories of woe, of tragedy, in order to see whether or not you jump in. If you jump in, you follow me in the cave. So you've opened up with empathy and sympathy. You feel bad. And you open up to empathy where you're going to put yourself in the shoes that I am so that I will feel better. That's what any good-hearted, normal person would do, right? If I was to give you a sad sob story and you are a caring person, you are going to want to show me empathy. You are going to want to match it. If I am on the sociopathy scale, well, the stories that I have just fed you are usually bullshit. They're usually testing the waters to see if you are reciprocate. And when you start reciprocating in order to allow me to feel better, I now have ammo that I can use to begin my manipulation tricks. So what you want to look out for is any sort of floodlighting where at the beginning of the relationship, you just get a little bit too much information. And because we're kind, because we're high value people, we want to help those around us. We tend to reciprocate and open up the empathy doors. So when that happens, you want to be wary of who it is that you're getting these stories from. If it's a little bit too much up front, you want to slow that down. You want to back off. Yes, they do, Jen. They use your empathy against you and twist your words. Absolutely. And this is how they do it. Because we are naturally compelled to match those energies around us. So if I'm giving you a sad story, a story of me being hurt and upset or this horrible childhood, and you like me in a manner of you want to help me, well, then you're going to open up too. You're going to show that empathy and boom, I have you hooked. And the minute I have you hooked, I can start reeling you in. And then, so Holly, that's where the gaslighting comes in effect, because now that I have you hooked, I can start reeling you in and I can start slowly manipulating your reality. So it's the floodlighting. Now, there is one measure that I didn't put in there, which is love bombing. There are 3 tricks to that. Love bombing, as anyone who's been in a toxic relationship knows, that after the floodlighting comes the love bombing and then comes the gaslighting. It's a 1, 2, 3 punch. And by the end of it, your reality is so of the relationship and who this person is so warped that you have to question your own reality. But this is how these tricks are played and how it works. So for any of you, if you want to learn more about those rapport tricks, check out the accelerator. Check out our Art of Charm Communication Accelerator. The link is in the link tree above on Instagram. You can check it out through our Twitter bio, and you can also see it in the descriptions of YouTube, and check it out on our website. It's the Art of Charm Communication Accelerator. It has all these rapport tactics and networking, strategic networking building tools from all of our online classes, in-person trainings, and interviewing experts for over the last 15 years. So, need more on that tomorrow, Tully? Well, maybe we can. I'll think about it. We'll see. It depends on how many hearts y'all give me. Now, so check out the Communication Accelerator. It's super rad. It has all of the best stuff in it. And we could certainly talk about everything in it every morning. So check it out. All right, guys, I got to head out of here. You guys are rad. Super awesome. Last day of finals. Well, right on. Look at all the hearts. Okay, well, we'll see, guys. You guys are rad. Animal thanks you. You guys have a great day tomorrow. Great day today, and I will see you tomorrow.